So I was scouring the internet. As always, I came across this post where this young woman was talking about how she regretted her younger years and how she didn't take advantage of those younger years. And in my mind, the first thing I thought, okay, I'm an older guy. How old is she really? And come to find out, she's only in her early 20s. And I thought the next thing that popped in my mind is you have your whole life ahead of you. And me, for one, to tell you that because I'm in my late 30s and I have changed a lot of different aspects of my life. And I have never regretted the choices I've made. Now, I've made some poor choices, right? There's some things I wish I would have done earlier in my life that I didn't do. But the thing is I'm taking notice of those things now, and I'm trying to take advantage of those things now, so that way I leave everything on the table and I do not regret anything when I get older. But looking at this young woman and seeing that she's only in her early 20s, she is, I believe, holding on to that past where she thought she had more opportunities then, and then you get a little bit older, you think all your opportunities have ran out, right? You get responsibilities and all these other different things you have to essentially take care of in life. It's like taking care of yourself, right? Where at that young age, when you're in high school and all that stuff, right, your parents are paying the bills, so what does it really matter, right? You can essentially do whatever you want. So I could see maybe where she would say that, hey, you know what, I wish I would have took advantage of those times. Although, you know, you're still young. You're still in your early 20s. You have a long life ahead of you. And myself, I had different priorities in my life, and I've talked about this on this channel about the different priorities I set in my life. And you know, at one point I liked to enjoy the party, and I lived that part of my life. So much so that part is almost essentially just eliminated from my life. I essentially put everything out there, right? I enjoyed myself at that time in my young 20s. And then growing up, my priorities shift. And I didn't have kids until I was in my early 30s. I try to enjoy my 20s. I try to do all that I could. I try to get all my travel done in my 20s. I did do a lot of travel. I wish I could have done more. I am still young. I can still travel. And that's ultimately the thing about regret, is just to realize that, you know what, today I'm just gonna go do whatever it is I want to go do. Don't try to make time later down the road, because you aren't guaranteed that you'll ever have time later down the road. And I myself, I try to always make time for myself. No matter what, every day I make time for myself. Whether that's for my health, when I go to the gym, I try to, you know, cut out a chunk of my day dedicated to that. Cut out a chunk of my day dedicated to learning. Cut out a chunk of my day to be curious, right? If I come across something on the internet, I'm gonna go search it out, and I'm gonna research it, and if it really piques my interest, I just keep going essentially till I know perhaps the lingo and what exactly I am trying to understand. Make sure I can get a good basic concept, and then that might be something I may incorporate into my life. And then to think that a part of my past I'm going to regret, right? In my mind, you're holding on to something in your past that's preventing you from enjoying the future and essentially living out a life in which you'll have no regret. And so you have to get this mindset that, you know, those opportunities you had are gone. There's always new opportunities presenting themselves each and every day. A lot of these opportunities, you may not actually see them because of the fact you aren't actually going out and seeking any. You may just be sitting in your house. Maybe you just come home and you're tired and you don't want to do anything else. But this is where it comes down to your own responsibility, right? Are you the kind of person that's going to go out and do it? Because a lot of times those opportunities won't be there unless you go out and seek them. If you aren't seeking opportunity, they will not be there. And a lot of times it takes, you know, maybe a little bit of know-how, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of curiosity to get to that point to realize the opportunities that are out there. And a lot of times you're like, man, why was I even talking about those opportunities back in high school? Well, now I got all these other opportunities that are so much better than that stuff. And it's just getting out of that mindset and realizing that today I'm going to live my life my way and not live with regret. I myself, I don't want to live with any regrets. When I'm on my deathbed, I want to be sitting there saying, you know what? I left it all on the table. I thoroughly enjoyed those things I wanted in life. I was curious about something. I sought it out. I explored it. You know, I did what I could do, and I'm enjoying life. And right now, I am really enjoying life. I'm enjoying those things that I never even thought, right? I don't even look back and think I regret that one thing I didn't do. There's a lot of things I wish I would have done, but I don't regret doing it because I could still make those changes today. And a lot of times I think we get wrapped up in what society sees is this thing, right, that we have to do. And if you don't capture the essence in that moment, it's not to say that none of those other moments won't come. And yeah, you are a youth, maybe it was something in college you missed out on it. There are better opportunities, believe me. I've traveled the world, you know, I've done many different things. I've jumped from different jobs, completely different career fields, changed my life on a dime multiple times, and I am still young. I'm in my late 30s, I still feel very young. I still feel very adapt to what's going on. And a big reason why I do a lot of the things I do is to keep myself in shape, to keep myself, you know, focused on those things that I want and incorporate my life and make sure that my health is good so I can continue to do those things, right? And realize that not every day is going to work out perfectly. Nothing is going to work out perfectly, but you should never regret anything and just hold it in your mind that it's going to be whatever it's going to be. And ultimately that's what you can live your life as, is just go in and day out and live that way. And it takes effort, it takes time to be able to do that, it takes know-how, it takes self-awareness to be able to go out and say, hey, you know what? Today is going to be my best day. There are many times where I haven't had my best day. I know I've even made a video on a bad day where, you know, it doesn't always work out in your favor. Some days you can just be firing on every cylinder and things are just, you know, rolling all in your direction. And then you can go about a week where nothing seems like it's rolling at all in your direction, right? And the best thing is to live your best life and live with absolutely no regrets. And if, you know, something doesn't work out in your favor, maybe it wasn't your time. And that is one of the biggest things I've always stated here is, you know, you can prep and prep and prep, but sometimes, you know, you do have to have a little bit of luck in your corner to be able for some opportunities to open up. And I think that's extremely important, especially when you're talking about regret, is to get out of that mindset that whatever moment that you're thinking about all those opportunities you missed, think about the moment you're in now and what opportunities you have presented to you now. Maybe you are, again, just sitting at home, not really doing a lot. And so you really don't see those opportunities. I mean, now there's such an abundance of opportunities and you don't have to spend all tons of money. And I know a lot of us get trapped in that mindset, well, I can't do this and I can't do that because, you know, I don't have the money to do these things. And the thing is there's always a workaround. There's always another way. And to think that this one path is the only way, and that if I don't live this life, I can't be happy. And that's not the case. It's just adjusting on the fly. And I think that's what life is, adjusting on the fly. And to think that it's not that way, you know, I think you can get misdirected because life is about living a life on the fly. Like, things don't hardly almost ever work out in your favor, right? Most of the time you have to spend some grinding and some hustling to be able to get some specific things to work in life, right? And there's other things that maybe you do achieve and you have to maintain, and then at that point you have to realize that, hey, you know, I've achieved this thing, I'm maintaining this thing, and I'm still happy that I can obtain this, right? Because it's not until you start losing those things that you realize that, man, that was a good thing that I built up to and I just let it go, right? And so that leads to regrets. And you have to just be aware about what you have, right? Take an inventory of what you have, the achievements that you've made, the opportunities that you have now in the present day. Maybe you don't even know what those opportunities are. Maybe you should actually spend some time and look at the opportunities that you have now. And maybe you feel like there's absolutely no opportunities, and that just means that you have to go out and seek opportunity. You have to be aware of these things and constantly not just go throughout your day, you know, going through the motions and just not thinking about it, right? And daydreaming about specific things. Once you actually be aware of what's going on in your life, and trying to make the best of it. And some of the best ways I've found that can actually help you be more self-aware is to, just look around your environment, right? If you see someone that's not smiling, smile and say, hey, how was your day, right? This keeps you aware of what's going on around you. Be self-aware. What are you doing? Maybe there's a bad habit you have, right? Is there something you're trying to change? Maybe there's actually something where you can set your alarm to where you're like, okay, where I am at this hour, right? What am I doing right now? Maybe it's for eating. Maybe there's a multitude of different things, right? But ultimately, what you want to do is be conscious of what you're actually doing and realize that by doing this, you start to pick up on things better. If you are looking for it, you start seeing a lot more, right? It's like when you first see that car that you just love to death, right? And then you think about that car all the time, right? Like, I want to buy that new car. Maybe I want to buy that new Tesla or whatever, right? And that's just constant in your mind. So every time you drive by, every Tesla that drives by, you notice that car, right? And this is the same exact thing. If you want to see opportunity, you have to be constantly setting your mind to see those opportunities. And that's when you're able to cash in on those new opportunities. Now, some of those opportunities may not work out, but you are aware of them. And the more opportunities you are aware of, the more realization you have that, hey, you know what? I don't regret anything because I know there's more opportunity out there. If this doesn't work out, that's perfectly okay because I'm not going to regret anything in life. Maybe I know for a fact that there will be other opportunity. I just have to seek it out and all will be better. So if you do enjoy this video, remember to hit the like button. Also, if you know somebody who is regretting something in life, share this video with them. Till next time, I will see you guys later.